always raining. And every time it rained, water seeped through the stones. So really quickly, the legal traders moved out. When they moved out, the nasty people moved in. The body snatchers were down here. We'll tell you a little bit more about them, those of you who are joining us for a drink in the tavern a little bit later. There were criminal gangs down here. People were murdered down here. There were gambling dens down here. And many homeless people, very poor, very desperate people, they came underground to escape the Edinburgh weather, many of them starving. The conditions down here were grim. So grim that the council dragged whatever was down here out, and then filled the vaults in to the ceiling with soil, with bricks, with rubble, so nobody could come back down here. They were all filled in by 1865, abandoned for over 100 years, and then we dug them out. And we opened them to the public in 1996 as an ideal location to tell traditional stories of old Edinburgh, and you've heard a few already. But very quickly, stories about these vaults began to emerge. People said in certain rooms they would suddenly feel cold. Now, it feels a lot nicer and warmer down here than it does outside at the moment. Rudy has closed the door at the top of the stairs. I have the doorstop in my handbag, so none of my colleagues can prop the door open. And the temperature down here should be what it is in this room. But very often, as we move through the vaults, you will notice that the temperature drops. It gets very cold. There are certain rooms where you can see your breath. There is no scientific explanation for it. There are no drafts down here. So as a group, I would ask you, be aware of the temperature. Keep an eye on the candles. They flicker, they flare quite wildly. Sometimes they'll suddenly go out. They really shouldn't. There are no drafts. People might hear things down here. Don't worry about noises above, that is my colleagues. It's noises on this level that you need to be aware of. Dragging noises, sound of stones being thrown. You might smell lavender, leather, tobacco. You might see figures out of the corner of your eye. And if you take photographs, you might get weird things in your photos. Faces, figures, orbs, balls of light, balls of energy, not seen to the human eye, not a trick of the lens. Now, before we go any further on our tour, we have to stress to you that we do not use gimmicks at Market Talks. There is nobody hiding in a room down here who is about to jump out at you and go boom. And because we don't use gimmicks, I can't guarantee anything is going to happen down here. Vaults don't work like that. The atmosphere can change from hour to hour and day to day. Sometimes we get some weird stuff, other times nothing at all, and that really is the vaults for you. But what I would say to you as a group, do be aware of the temperature. You may well notice that it gets colder as we move through the vaults. Take a few photos. Even if you've just got a phone, take a few photos. You might get something in your photos. If you do, at the end of the tour, email them to us. We have some very high-tech people in the office. If it's your thumb, they will tell you. If it's a bit of dust on the lens, they'll tell you, but if it is an orb or anything quite strange, it will go onto our website. Now, I'm going to tell you about a few things in this room. This is a double height vault. Difficult to see in the candlelight, but above where Rudy is standing, there is another door. That's a modern door, but an authentic doorway. And above the other archway, there's another door. So there should actually be a level above our heads, a ceiling above us. Fell down in the 100-odd years that these vaults were abandoned. We dug it out, and there are cold spots in this particular chamber. You might be wondering, what's a cold spot? Well, you might suddenly feel head to foot cold. One side of you feels cold, your hand feels cold, and mediums and psychics would say it's where a spirit is standing. And there are lots of them in this particular chamber. Also, if you take photographs in this area, very often you get figures in your photos. These are harmless. These are known as residual hauntings. You do not need to worry about them. They're like traces left behind. But it makes sense. Workshop above, you'd have figures above. You do need to worry, however, about a figure that's often seen standing behind where Rudy is standing. And this is a stocky man with a hat. And he is what is known as an interactive spirit. And they do what they say. They interact. They cause electrical changes, temperature changes. People see them, people hear them. We call this particular spirit the Watcher, for the simple reason that he watches the groups, and he's not particularly pleasant. So Rudy at the back, can you be on the lookout for a stocky man with a hat?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Now, we're going to go through into the next chamber. This is your opportunity to take some photos, with or without flash. There doesn't seem to be any logic to it, but if you are going to use flash, can I ask you to refrain from eye level, just because it's a very large group. We have to move quite quickly through the vault, so Rudy, you're at the back, but